Welcome to another tutorial, guys. My name is Victor, and in this video we will create a login and register form for our users using PHP, HTML, CSS, and MySQL as a database. I know that some of you guys asked it, so here we go. I've got the demo right here. There's the login form, and if I click on the register button, it goes to the registration form. And if you see here, the URL is also changing. So if I click on the login form back, the URL is changing here. A means action, and then the login is the actual value for our A action. So here's the database. I named it by code. I have the users table here. The structure is the following: ID, first name, last name, email, password, and session. So let me register a new user to show you how it works. Let's say Victor Miller, and if I click register now, there's gonna appear an error which is gonna say all fields are required. So I'm gonna fill them up properly. So here password 12345, 12345. Click register, and if everything is fine, then it redirects me to the login form. Now in my users table, I have this user stored right here. The session is still empty because I didn't log in yet. So let me log in really quick. 12345. Click login, and it redirects me to a dashboard page. And there is a dashboard content and the exit button. Now if I go back here and update the table, I can see there's a session too. So now I can exit, right? Exit, and even if I go back and I try to refresh this page, try to access the dashboard without being logged in, it's gonna say session expired. So let's go back to the home page. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. If you want to follow along with me, it's gonna be easy because I'm gonna write everything from scratch. There's also gonna be a link to the source code, so you can grab it from there if you want to. Yep, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm using VS Code. I'm also using XAMPP as a XAMPP to start Apache and MySQL here. And here I'm gonna start with a new file, which is gonna be index.php file, and then I'm gonna create the configuration file. But actually, first of all, let's go ahead and create a new database because that's where we start. So if I click on my server, I'm gonna click on the databases. I'm gonna create a new database. Let's say vycode1, and the codification is gonna be UTF-8 general CI. Where is that? Here. Create, and the table is gonna be users, and the columns are gonna have ID, first name, last name, email, password, and session. So we're gonna have 6 columns. Click go, and here we will have the ID, which is gonna be 10. This is gonna be auto incrementing, so let's check that stuff right there. And then we will have first name varchar 100, collection, let's say collection UTF-8 general CI. All of them are going to be UTF-8 general CI, so we can accept any kind of languages. All right, where is this? General CI, general CI. Here we go. And the last one, the last one doesn't really matter. Where is it? Where is it? It's taking me too long. Okay, here we go. All right, first name, last name. This is varchar, of course. It's gonna be 100. Here's 100 as well, varchar, and this is the email. And then we've got the password, varchar 100, and here's the session. Let's leave it 102, and now here I'm gonna click save, and here we have our table users. And by the way, I just wanted to mention one thing, guys. We're gonna build this login form and registration form, and I'm not gonna But there is something else I wanted to recommend you after you create your form. Just if you, I'm gonna leave a link in the description, but there's gonna be a video on how to secure your form for CSRF attacks. So if I'm going to youtube.com and if I access my channel from from YouTube, sorry about this is taking a while, but this is also important, and I would like you guys to watch that video because it's gonna there's a lot of stuff you can learn. Where is that CSRF? It should be somewhere here. Here we go. Anti-CSRF token protection. So here I show how to protect your form against CSRF attacks. So there's gonna be a link to this video. If you want, you can watch it. If not, then and I would recommend you watch it because that's very important. It's a very good video, guys. All right, so we got the table here. Now here I'm gonna have a different folder, and I don't remember the name. The name is login register. So I'm gonna have here login register, and it's empty for now because I didn't create any files. So let me go ahead and create the first file, which is index.php. And here I'm gonna have an HTML5. By default, the title it's gonna be login /register user. Alright, I'm gonna save it like this. Now I'm gonna create a new file, which is gonna be the configuration, the connection to the database. So it's gonna be configuration for the database, config.php. And here we will have, this is gonna be a class that's I'm gonna use PDO to this is why I'm using classes here. Alright, this is a PHP code. There's gonna be a class connect extends. This is gonna extend the PDO object, and here I'm gonna have a public function, which is the constructor. It's not really custom function. It's a constructor anyway, like this. And here I'm gonna have parent constructor, and here we have the credentials for our database. So there's the database type, in our case is MySQL, and then we have the host, which is localhost, and then we have database name, DB name, which is vycode1. Let me make sure. Yeah, vycode1. And then we also have, what's next is the user. So here we have a command, then the user is root, and the password, I don't have any password, so I just leave it blank. And then there's the next parameter is an array, like this. And here we have PDO MySQL underscore attr underscore init underscore command, and here is setting the codification for the UTF-8 for all the data that's been inserted in the database. Is going to be like UTF-8. I may be wrong, but I believe that this is what it is. So set names UTF-8, and that's it for this line. There are gonna be 2 more lines. So we have this using this object, and we want to set an attribute. Set attribute, it's gonna be PDO attr underscore err mode, which is attribute error mode. And then we have PDO error mode underscore exception. Alright, and the next line is gonna be this. we're gonna set another attribute here. So we have set attribute. Forgot this is a variable here. Go like this. And this one takes video attr underscore emulate underscore prepares, because we will use the prepare statement, execute statement, stuff like that. So we have prepares and then false. Okay, so it looks like this is how it should look like. MySQL host localhost database. And anyways, if there's going to be any errors, we'll see them here popping up. Okay, let's save this file. Now let's go back to our index.php file, and I want to continue. I want to add a style CSS file, so let me create that file, style.css. Now I want to import this style in my index.php file, so we'll have here link rel, and there's gonna be style sheet, and here's gonna be the file, so the source. So this is gonna be just style.css like this. Okay, let's go back and see. We don't have anything here. I'm gonna open my developer tool here, console, just to make sure everything is fine. And even though I'm not gonna have any JavaScript files, but sometimes if I'm not adding here the correct URL to the specific files, then there's showing an error, so that may be helpful. Okay, now I want to create a new folder, which is gonna be core, and in that folder I'm gonna create classes. So let me create here a folder, and I will name it core, and here I'm gonna create another folder which is gonna be classes, and here I'm gonna create a new class which is gonna be class.user.php, and here I'm gonna have it's gonna be a big object, and this object is gonna have different other functions and functionalities. That everything in this object, like whenever you build a big project, you have a bunch of objects there. So you have a user object, you might have a worker object and stuff like that. So in the user object is going to be the functionality assigned, or user functionality. Like in my case, I usually put here the login form, registration form. I put if there's any other like user levels and stuff like that. So it's just a way to store all this functionality and just clean up my code. So here's going to be class user, and the first function I want to build here, it's going to be the login form. So it's going to be function. Oops, I forgot about this is a PHP like this. Okay, so sorry about that, guys. Login form, and it's not taking any parameters, and this is just gonna return a form. This is gonna be an HTML form, and I'm gonna have a div class, and this div class is gonna be form underscore block. Okay, and then in this div I'm gonna have another div ID, which is gonna be the title, and I'm gonna create these classes and the IDs in the CSS file in a second. So there's div ID, and we have title here. Actually, this is gonna be in the same line, and here I'm gonna have login. Okay, and then below it's gonna be another div class, which is body. And here is gonna be the form. So we have form action. Actually, first is gonna be the ID, which is log form, and then we have an action. This is very useful whenever you use JavaScript or you want to send data through Ajax and stuff like that. So having an ID on the form is very useful. And then the action is gonna be a equal to login. So we'll have actions in index.php. I'm gonna explain. If you don't know what this means, I'm gonna explain in this file here whenever we will build that functionality. So just write like this for now, and the method is gonna be post. Alright, and oops, and here I'm closing the form, and now I'm gonna type in the field. So we have input type text name, it's gonna be email, and placeholder, it's gonna be email. I'm gonna have another one for my password like this, type password, name, it's gonna be pass, placeholder is gonna be password, and there's gonna be another, and there's the button, the submit button. So I'm gonna have here input type submit, value, it's gonna be enter. You can put login or enter, either way it's fine. And here I'm gonna have a link to the registration form. So it's gonna be a class, I'm gonna add some styling, and it's gonna be a reg button, which is regbtn, and I'm gonna have the link to question mark a equal register. This is another action. Okay, close the a tag, and here's gonna say register. Just make sure making sure you see the whole code right there. Okay, I've got this form here, I'm gonna save it. So if I go back and refresh it, it's not happening, there's nothing going on here, just because we didn't import this class in our index.php file, we didn't include it there. But before we do that, let's go ahead and I'm gonna require here the configuration file. This is the connection to the database. So I'm gonna type in here require once, and here's gonna be a real path, and then I'm gonna have dir name, right? And here I'm gonna have underscore underscore file, uppercase, make sure. And then there's gonna be a concatenation. I want to add here, I'm gonna go 2 steps back, and there's gonna be the config.php. Okay, like this. So this means that I'm going 2 folders back. From here, I'm going folder back, which is classes, and then another one, which is core. And I'm gonna be here in the main folder, which is where I find the config.php file. Okay, this is cool. Everything is fine here. I'm gonna save this file, and now in my index.php file, I'm gonna import this user class, because I'm gonna use those functions here. So I'm gonna have PHP tag, I'm gonna leave a comment like import user object, and here I'm gonna have require once core slash classes slash user.class.php. And now here, where is my body section, I want to call this register form. So before we do that, I have to assign this. I forgot about this one. Now here I want to assign a new object, the user object, to one of my variables. So in this way, using that variable, I will be able to call these functions from this object. So I'm gonna have a variable user, capital U. You can choose a different name if you want, it doesn't matter. So I have user assigned a new object, which is user. This name from here needs to match with the name from here. Alright, just make sure. Okay, so I assigned everything I have in this class to this variable. Now I have using this variable, I can call that function in my body section right here. So I'm gonna have an PHP tag, and here I'm gonna have echo user, and the function name is login form, like this. And I will save it. Let's go back and make sure everything is fine. So we see we got an error, failed to open stream, no such file or directory, htdocs required, index.php 3. So it didn't find core classes, user class.php. Oh, here we have class.user.php. That's why. Sorry about that, guys. I have to rename. We have to rename this one. If you didn't the same, I have to rename this one to user. It should be like this: user.class.php. Okay. All right. Now it should work. So if I refresh, I can see the form. The styling is missing though, so let's go ahead and create the styling for all these forms. And the first one is the form block, and the form block has title, and then there's the body too. So let's say first one. Let's add a body. This body is for the whole app, whole page. So this is a body tag. So let's type in here the font family for now, because we want to add some styling. Like this means global styling. So font family, it's gonna be Roboto, sans serif, and then here the color we want to make it 75, 75, 75, and the margin 0. Font size, I will say 15 pixels, and then here we will have a background color. No, actually a background, just background, and here we will have an image. So it's gonna be URL, and it's gonna be img/bk.png, and now we will have to get this image and save it here. So let's create a new folder, which is img, and here we will save all our images. Now if we go to, I'm gonna leave, so you will find these images in the source code. I'm gonna go to github.com/ruvictor, and under my repositories there should be user login register, and then here img, and the one I need is bk.png. I will click download. This is how it looks like. So I will click download and then Ctrl S to save it. So I'm gonna go to my disk C, examp, htdocs, login register, img, and I will save this one here. And then there's another one, if you see, which is, it should be error.png. I want to save this image as well, so I'll save it in the same folder. Okay, that's it. Now let's go back and let's continue here. Let's add some styling for our global styling for our URLs, and here we will have text decoration. It's gonna be none, and the color, let's make it 009688, which is like a green color, and the cursor, it's gonna be pointer. And here you don't have to add this one. And then we have a hover. This is whenever we hover over our links, it's gonna be text decoration none, and we will have color, which is gonna be black, and that's it. Now here we have our form block, okay, and the width, it's going to be 400 pixels, and display table, and margin top 10%, margin left, it's gonna be auto, and margin, we will have another margin right, which is gonna be auto as well. Okay, and the next one is gonna be the background. So we have background color RGBA, and here we'll have 0, 0, 0, and we'll have 0.1. And then padding 5 pixels, border radius 5 pixels. Let's save it. Let's go back and see what's going on here. So you see we have a background already, and there's this transparent background for the login. This is saying that file icon is not, couldn't find it because we don't have it. So alright, let's go ahead and continue. Now using this form block, we will there's another title ID. Title ID, and here we have background. Let's see, we will have the background, padding, color. So background is going to be 3D8577. It's going to be a green color, and then we have padding 10 pixels. We have color white, font weight, it's going to be bold, font size 20 pixels, text align center, border top right radius going to be 5 pixels, 5 pixels, and we will have border top left 5 pixels. And then the text shadow, let's add a shadow for our text. Text shadow, and here is gonna be -1 pixel, -1 pixel, 0, GRBA, and we've got 0, 0, 0.2. Okay, let's save it. Let's see how it looks like. So we've got the title here, which is login, and then we have the body class. So type in here form block, and here we have the body. It's a class, it's not the same thing as this one, it's just a body class because it has this dot here. Okay, here we'll just have a background color white, and the padding is gonna be 10 pixels, and that's gonna be all for the body section. So if we refresh, we see it here. Now we should add the styling for this button and for these fields. And to do that, we should type in, we should use the input type. We have text, email, no, we have text, password, and submit. Okay. Input, and here we have like this type, text, and then we have another input type, password, like this. And here we have height 35 pixels, and we have width, which is gonna be 100%, and then we have margin bottom 10 pixels, and we have padding, which is 4 pixels, and 5 pixels, which is 4 means top on the bottom, 5 on the sides. And then we have background, and the background is white, and the next one is border 1 pixel solid, D0, 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 and then we have border radius. So we have I'm gonna use a different, like here we have WebKit, border radius, it's gonna be 3 pixels. This is for other browsers that don't support just the border radius. And then we have moz border radius, it's gonna be 3 pixels, and just the border radius 3 pixels. Okay, now we should do the same thing for our submit button. We'll have input type submit, and here we will have submit button and the registration button or login button. This one from here, this link, it's gonna be the same. So if you remember here, we put reg button as a class, right? And the submit button and the registration button are gonna have the same styling. So here we go. We've got the submit. Let's put a comma, and let's add the dot reg btn. And now here we want to add height 35 pixels, and then we will have box sizing, border box, and then padding, it's going to be 4 pixels and 10 pixels. Background, it's going to be f5 f4 EA. Border 1 pixel solid, D0 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 D0. Okay, and then we will have also the WebKit border radius, it's gonna be 3 pixels, and the mods radius 3 pixels, and just the border radius 3 pixels. And we want the cursor is gonna be pointer, because these ones are buttons. And we want to add some styling for, actually that's it. I would like also to add some inputs, type submit. This might work, this might not, but let's see. Input type submit, and I have it active like this. Whenever I click on this, on the clicking event, I want to add a padding top of 5 pixels. So this is kind of like, it's just gonna move it a little bit, but I don't know. We'll see if that's gonna work here. You see, it's working a little bit, but it works just for the submit button. Okay, it seems like there's something missing. For the registration button, I would like to add here a separate class for that. So we have reg btn, and here I want to add float right and the line height 1.7, like this. So if I go back now and refresh, now it goes where it should be. Okay, this form looks good. Now let's start building the functionality. In my index.php file, I'm going to create the actions here. So if you see this A from here, I want to create an action. This is actually a get method variable. So every time I click on these links, like this, for example, there's the action. This is the variable, and this is the value I assign to it. And then I want to check in my index, I want to check the value of this A variable from the get method. And according to that value, I can output the data in my index.php file. So here I have getting the action. Let me add a comment here. Getting the action, and here I'm gonna have A equal to is set get A. Then I assign the value from the get. Otherwise, I assign an empty string. So this is like an if. if there is anything is set is function. If there is anything in the a variable from the get method, if this is true, then I assign the data from the get method assigned to the a variable to the PHP a variable. If not, I assign an empty string. Now in my body section here, let me get rid of this stuff I have because I'm gonna use it later. Now here I'm gonna have a switch. So switch a, and I'm gonna have different cases. So I have case, in case the value from the a variable is login, then here I want to output the login form. So I have echo user login form like this, and there is a break right here. There's gonna be a break right here. So let's try it. Let's go back, and if I remove this stuff from here, it's not gonna show anything because I don't have a case for like a default case yet. But if I have here a equal to login, it shows the login form. So this is the logic behind this a action stuff. Okay, let me add the default case, and here I'm gonna output also the login form. Like this, and there's gonna be a break as well. Alright, save it, and now if I remove everything from here and I press enter, it's gonna show the login form by default. Alright guys, let's continue. So now I want to create the validation for this login form. So this is something very important. So it's the main functionality from this class. So we have function, and I'm thinking about naming it check login data. Check login data, because there's gonna be another one for the registration form. Now here's we will have a variable which is db, and we will assign the connection to the database. So we will assign this object to this variable. This way we'll be able to access the database. So we have db, and we assign the new object which is connect, like this. Okay, and now here I'm gonna have another variable which is gonna be a result, and I will assign an empty string for now. And below here I'm gonna have, I will start the, here's gonna be the validation of the data from our form. So I want to make sure there is some data in the post method. And actually we have to call this function in our login form. So here in our login form, where is below our title, in the body section would be good. We will have a concatenation. So let's put a dot here and a dot right here, and the apostrophe like this. And now here we will have parentheses. Wait, something's wrong here. I shouldn't, yeah, this way. Okay, so now here we have to concatenate. So we have to insert an if statement, which is gonna check if there is any data in the post method, because we send the data through the post method. So if there is any data in the post method, that means that the user submitted the form. So if there is any data in the post method, we want to call this function, which is gonna handle the validation of the data. We'll check what kind of data is there, and if everything is fine, it's gonna filter it, and then after that, it's gonna select the user from the database, gonna look for it, and if everything is fine, it's gonna generate a session, and then after that, it's gonna redirect the user to the dashboard. So this is how we're gonna do that. We will have parentheses like this. We will have post on question mark. So if we have any data in the post, Then using this, that means we're calling a function from the same object, which is user. We want to call the function check login data. All right, and here we will send two parameters. The first one is going to be the email variable, which is the data from this field. All right, and the next one, the second one, is going to be the password. Password, actually the name is pass, like this. Okay, let's save it. We have got the result here. Let's make sure everything works. So we will return the result. And here we will say submit it. Alright, let's go back. Refresh this one. Actually, there's an error unexpected in 16 here. 16 here. This. We've got the post. Let's see if I put this one in the same line. I mean, it shouldn't be this. So we've got the post, this check login data, check login data. Oh, this if statement. It's not complete, guys. I am so sorry about that. So we have the pass here, otherwise empty. Okay, so if there's any data in the post method, we call this function. Otherwise, we just show an empty string, which means that we don't do anything. We don't show anything on the screen. Alright, let's save it now and let's refresh. So it should work now. If I click on the enter button to submit the form, we get an error here. I'm sorry about that, guys. So in user class line 6, we assign db new connect. Okay, so what's that saying? Uncaught argument count error video construct expect at least one parameter 0 given. So construct constructor. Okay, so we have, oh, this one should be construct, not constructor. This should be construct. Okay, so if I refresh it now, it's still the same error. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm checking. This one needs to be construct G. I don't know why I put constructor. This is odd. Okay, another one. Requested address is not valid in the context. Config PHP 5. Okay, I didn't like that from the config PHP 5. So here PDO, I probably misspelled something. MySQL, attr init command, and we have set names utf8. It looks like it should be good. PDO MySQL attr init command. You know what, guys? Here it should be, we shouldn't have two dots, but it should be like this. Let's save it. Okay, so now it works. We've got to submit it here. I'm sorry about that, guys. This stuff from here was really odd. It should be construct, not constructor. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, so we see that this stuff works here. Refresh it. It works. It shows the submitted from that function, from this function from here. Now let's continue. I'm gonna remove the stuff from here. Now let's go ahead and create here the submission, the validation stuff. So the validation, it's gonna, we'll have if is set. If is set, and we have we check the email, and I was about to forget here, and we should add email and password. email and password as the parameters. Actually, let's put pass, because we send them. Whenever we call this function, we send two parameters, the email and the password. Okay, so if it's set email and double and sign is set pass variable, of course, Victor, pass. Here we assign. So here we have to filter this data now. So we will have email. We assign to the email. It's kind of like the same variable, which is, I mean, makes it easier. You can choose another variable if you want, but I'm assigning to the same variable. So we have strip slashes, and here I have HTML special chars, and here I have email. So email. So that's how I'm filtering the email, and I want to do the same thing for the password. So I have pass, except here I'm gonna add MD5, and trim. So I have MD5 just for security reasons, guys. I'm gonna codificate this one in MD5 like this. Double. I'm gonna have another MD5 now, like this. And there's gonna be a trim function which is gonna remove the spaces from the sides. So I have trim like this. A lot of parentheses here, but that's the way I usually filter this data, so I know for sure everything is fine here. Next one is going to be another if. Now after we filtered all this stuff from here, we want to make sure like there's going to be a double check. So we have if empty email. So which that with this says if the email is empty or if the password is empty, then we want to output an error message which is gonna say all fields are required. So we have result, and we put this dot and equal because we want to add to the same value from here. So we just add more value. We don't assign new value. So we add here. It's gonna be a class. We'll have div class, and we will have this backward slashes because we're assigning this stuff to this variable p, and we have p here, and then we have strong, and this is gonna be error like this, and this is gonna say after the strong, it's gonna say all fields are required, and we should close div like this. Okay, well, this needs to, it's not apostrophe, it's like this. Alright, so now it looks good. I have div class. Make sure you put this right here. I forgot to close it here like this. We've got p strong, all fields are required. Okay, else. Now here we want to select the user from the database, so we will have a user variable, and we've got db, and here prepare, and we are preparing the selection. So we have select everything from users, that's the table, where email equal to email, this is a predefined variable, and password equal to pass, like this. And now I want to execute this query, so we have execute array, and here we have this predefined variables. which is email and pass. All right, here's how it works. We have email, and we assign the email variable, and then we have the pass, and we assign the pass variable like this. And after we select the data, we want to assign it to a variable which is info. So this is how we do it: user, and using the fetch function, we have pdo fetch underscore a sock like this. And then here we will have another if statement. We will check after after this selection, if it found anything, then that's where if it didn't find anything in the database with this email and password, then we should show an error on the screen which is going to say login failed. So we have if what's that, user row count. Row count is a PHP native function. If that's equal to 0, then we assign to the result, we assign to the current data, we assign a div class here. Oops, like this. We assign a div class which is error, and we will have to create this class, of course. So we have div class error, and then there's a paragraph like this, and here we will have strong, and this is gonna be an error. And this is gonna say login failed, but this is gonna be after the strong, so we'll say login failed. All right, if you didn't find anything, login failed. Else, now here we create the cookies, and here we update the session from the database. But until we get here, I'm gonna assign to the result, I'm gonna assign here just welcome for now. So let's save it. Let me go back and just make sure everything works fine. I don't have any errors. So if I click enter, it's saying error, all fields are required. Here like this. Let me create this class first. So let's go to the style CSS, and here let's create this error class. Let's do it below right here. So we will have dot error, and here we have background color, and it's gonna be let's see, EA. So it's gonna be like a color like this, light green, red, and then it's gonna have a border, and the border is gonna be 1 pixel solid, and here we have FADADB like this, and then here we'll have margin bottom 10 pixels. Alright, and the border radius is gonna be 3 pixels. And there's also a p tag from our error like this, and this is gonna get the padding of 10 pixels, 10 pixels, 10 pixels, and 35 pixels. Margin, it's gonna be 0. Border radius, it's gonna be 3 pixels. And the background, it's gonna get a URL here for that image. We have img/error.png. And of course we add here the sizes a little bit, just not the sizes but position. So we have 10 pixels and 50%, no repeat. Okay, let's save it. I'm gonna save it here. I'm gonna refresh this page one more time so we can see that there is this errors. There is the image here and the styling, which is saying all fields are required. Now if I insert something here like this, click enter, it's gonna say login failed because it didn't find anything here. That means, I mean, it didn't find for now because we don't have any users here registered for now. Okay, everything seems to work fine until now. So let's continue. Now, where is our else? Let's get rid of this stuff. Let's add. We should create another function which is generate code. So generate code is gonna generate a session. If everything is fine, it went through all this validation, everything is fine. We want to generate a session for our users, which is gonna be stored here in the session. And this session is gonna be saved in the cookies, in the browser cookie. That's how we will know that the user is registered. A cookies, what is a browser cookie? A browser cookie is a file that's been saved in the browser, and having the same data in the database, having, for example, this session, if this session is going to be in the browser and in the database, this way we can check, you know, if the data is the same, that means that the user is logged in. If the data is not the same, then that means that the user is not logged in. So we will have two cookies. One is going to be the ID, and the other one is going to be the session. But to do that, we have to create a new function, which is going to be generate code. That's going to generate the session. So we have function generate code, and the parameter is going to be length 6. All right, and here we will have chars. These are all the characters you want to generate your session from. So I'm just gonna copy and paste all of them here, just not to type them. Actually, let's do like this. I'm gonna put like this. In my source code, you'll find a very long. There's gonna be all the whole all the characters and everything, like the lowercase and uppercase and numbers, English only. So here I'm gonna put just A, B, C, D, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like this. Okay, now here we'll have a new variable which is gonna be code, and this variable is gonna be empty first, and then we have clean strl strlen, and then we have code here. Actually, no, this is gonna be chars -1, and then we have while, and so this is gonna be a loop which is gonna generate the code and it's gonna assign it to the code variable. So we have while strlen code. So it's like while this code is not greater than the length, then we assign to the code variable. Now this dot right here, it's very important because we assign to the current value. So we assign chars and empty rand, and here we have 0 from 0 till clean. I'm gonna explain everything in a second, guys. Okay, and then after that we just return the code like this. So what it does, we call this function. If it doesn't have a length, it assigns 6 to the length. It actually, yeah, it assigns 6 to the length. Here are the characters from which we create a session. So if it's 6, for example, then we have an empty string here, which is code, and then we assign the clean strlen. We assign everything to the clean. It becomes like an array here whenever we assign this, and then we have while strlen the code. If this is, it's not greater than the length, so while this is not greater than 6, then we assign a random, we pick a random position because everything starts from here. So A, it's gonna be 0, B, it's gonna be 1, C, it's gonna be 2, D, it's gonna be 3. So we get a random position from here and we assign it to the current value from the code, and it's gonna run like this until it reaches to the 6. So it's gonna be like 6 characters session, and then after that we just return it here. So let's copy the name from this one and let's call it here where we have the else stuff, because here we have to have, for example, hash, and we assign to the hash an MD5. I'm gonna use MD5 codification even though that's gonna assign it already. So we'll have MD5 this generate code, and I'm gonna put here 10 because I want it to be 10 length, 10 characters length. But actually for now let's just remove this MD5. You can add it later if you want to. I'll just show you how that works. And then here we have another variable. Here we are updating the user table, so using the db, and here we have prepare, and we have update, that's the SQL, update users set session equal to the hash where ID equal to ex user. I just put ex as a predefined function. I forgot about these two dots right here. Okay, and now upd execute. I want to execute this, and here I have to execute. There's going to be an array, and this array is going to have the hash like this, and I assign this hash, and then the ex user, and this is getting the info ID. I get the user ID. Oops, because from here, because if it found the user, then I get the ID. I get all the information from that user. Alright, I assigned the ID. Now here below I want to set cookies, as I said. So set cookies. Set cookie, the first one is going to be the ID cookie. So to the ID cookie I assigned the info.id. I assigned user ID, and then the time for the cookie, that's for how long the cookie is gonna be. So it's gonna be, let's put here 60, 24, 30, and then here we will have slash, that's for which domain you want to do that. So this is going to be just for the current one, and then the next one is going to be null. That's the parameter, and we want to do the same thing for the second one. This is going to be for the session. Now we'll change just here, we'll say ses, and the data we assign, it's going to be the hash. The hash is that generate code that's assigning to the hash. Okay, and then after that we will have an echo, and here we will have a script. That's how I usually redirect it, just to avoid the header already sent. So here we will have location dot href. It's gonna be like this, and this is the location, which in our case the folder name is login register. So we'll have login register slash a equal to, actually before, after the slash there's going to be question mark, a equal to dashboard, like this. Alright, so that should be it for the login, for this validation. Let's save it and let's go back and see what's going on here. So I'll refresh it, press enter, everything works fine here. We can't really check this one because we didn't create a registration form yet, but just to show you that let's insert a user for now. So let's say the first name is gonna be, it doesn't matter though, last name doesn't matter, email is gonna be admin@gmail.com, and then the password, I don't remember, did we codify, yeah, MD5, double MD5. So the password, I'm gonna just use an online generator, so this MD5 encoder online, and I'm gonna use this to encode, let's say 1 2 3 4 5, generate once, and this is the hash I get after generation, but because this is what I'm doing here, and then I have to generate it one more time. So I'm gonna copy the stuff from there, and I'll paste it here, and I will click generate. This is gonna double generate it. So I'll copy this stuff, I'll paste it where the password is, and I will click go. Alright, so now I have a user here. Now I can try to log in. So let's see if it's working. Admin 1 2 3 4 5, click enter, and it redirects me to the dashboard. So everything works fine. Let's see the session. The session is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So you see all these characters are from here, and we put here 10 length session. Okay, so everything works fine. We just see the login form just because we don't have a action dashboard yet. So if I'm going to index.php here and add another case, which is gonna be dashboard like this, and I echo here dashboard, welcome to dashboard, and I'm gonna have a break, of course, like this. So if I save it and go back here, and now if I refresh it, I see a welcome to dashboard. All right, so it seems like everything works fine. Now if you want to check your cookies, go to application tab, just open your developer tool by clicking right click inspect, and click on the application tab, and then click on the cookies. So here you'll find your domain, which in my case is localhost, and then here you can find the cookies, which is the session and the ID. And the ID is 1, my user ID is 1, and the session starts with CD and ends with 69. So the session is the same, CD and 69, right? Now if I remove, for example, the session, and if I refresh this page, I mean, it still works because I don't have the security for this one in place yet, but it shouldn't work. So we will build that functionality in a few minutes. Okay, I'm gonna close this one. Now let's go ahead and create the registration form. And I want to create first, let's create first a dashboard function here on top. So we'll have function, I don't know, let's call it dashboard. Dashboard, this doesn't take any parameters, and here we will just return, I don't know, welcome to the dashboard, like this. Oops. And now I want to call this function here. So we'll have echo, actually user dashboard, like this. Let's just make sure, welcome to the dashboard. Okay. All right. Let's see, login form. Let's create a registration form. So we should create a new function here in our user.class.php. It's gonna be something similar to this function. So I'm just gonna copy and paste this one below. So let's say login form, and then this one is gonna be register form. We will change a few things here. We will add more fields. So we've got the same form block, title, body. This stuff is gonna be, we will change. We will have to create a new function like this one, which is gonna be this function. Let's put here login validation, and below here we will create, right above the register form, we will create another function which is going to be a register validation, like this. And we will have function, and we will name it check register data. Actually, yeah, registered data. And this is gonna take parameters too, but we will do that in a second. So check register data, replace this name from here where we had login data. The check login data we replace it with check register data, and we will add a few more parameters here. So let's do like this. Just let's clean this up a little bit. Okay, like this. Alright, we've got the form here, input text, email, but we want to add one field for the first name, last name, email, password 1, password 2, and then register button. So let's add more fields here. I'm gonna clone this one. So it's gonna be f name, f underscore name, and this is gonna be first name, and then another one is gonna be l name, which means last name, email, password, and we will have two fields for the password. This is gonna be pass1 and pass2, and it's gonna be password, and then the second one is gonna say repeat password. Okay, we have repeat password, and let's see. I'm thinking though how to make this one easier. Okay, input tab submit enter. This is gonna say register. This is gonna be the same class except for this link, except this link is gonna go to the login. We'll have this login. Gonna go to the login form. Alright, looks good. Now let's copy this function here and let's create another case here. Right below the login, we'll have case register. Like this, we'll have echo user, and the function name is login form. So let's save it. Let's go back now and refresh this page where is a register, and we've got an error, cannot redeclare user login form 76. 76, which file is that? Class user class 76. Oh, because it's the same name. Okay, we didn't change the function name, so we should do that here. What is going on? We didn't change it because I copied it from there, right? That's why. Register form. Let's save it. Let's go back here. Let's place an index.php file. If I refresh it, and I get another error in index, which is 25. Uncaught error calls a member function register form of null on null. Okay, register form on null. It's because return. That's weird. Oh, because I didn't put capital U. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I apologize for all this stuff, but it's been kind of late. Okay, so it shows this one from next case just because I didn't add a break here. Like this. If I add break, refresh. So here's the registration form. Now I can click login. It goes to the login form. I click register. It goes to the register form. So let's create a validation for the registration form now. It's not much stuff, it's not a lot of stuff in here. It's almost the same. So I'm gonna copy this function from here and we'll just change it a little bit. Alright, I'll copy it and I'll paste it. Actually, just the content from the function. Now we'll paste it here inside our check register data function like this. Alright, so we assign the database, result stays the same. Now if is set, here we want to check all this data from here. First of all, we should send it to that function. Whenever we call it, we want to send all this data through these parameters. So let's copy the names from these fields and let's send them as variables like this, as parameters. We have the first name, last name, email, pass1, pass2, and that's it. Pass1, pass2, that's it. Now we go back here. I'm gonna copy this list. Actually, I don't have to, but check registration data. Now here where we have these parameters, I'm gonna add them there like this. Except I'm gonna make changes. I'm gonna remove the pause and I'll make them just PHP variables like this. Okay, I have them right like this. Now we should check them. So we have isSet email. We should do the same one for the first name, last name, password one. So we have 1, 2, war. So we have first name, last name, email, pass1, and we want to do, oh, this is actually and, it's not or, and so the next one it's gonna be and is set pass2 like this. Okay, so now we should filter all this data like we did for this email. So we'll have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fields. We need to add 3 more. 1, 2, 3. First one is for the first name, and then last name, email, and then there's gonna be pass1, and pass2 like this. So if all this stuff is done and it's good, it filtered, and then we have another if statement with double checks, then we should do the same thing. So we have, let's see, copy this one, add 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Oops. So we have like this: first name, last name, email. It's gonna be pass1 and pass2. Why I put pass1 and pass2? Because I want to check, it's like a security measurement just for the user to remember, password and repeat password. So if they match, then it's all good. Okay, so I put all this stuff here. If they're empty, it's gonna say all fields are required. Else, now what's in the else here? I'm gonna get rid of everything from here. Now in the else, we want to insert the user. So if everything is fine, we want to insert the user in the database. So we have db prepare, and here is insert into users, and we have these are the columns. So we have first name. These are the columns names from the database, so make sure they match: first name, last name, email, password. So we have first name, last name, email, and password like this. And then here we will have next values. That here are the values for these columns now. So we have first name, last name, email, and password. Okay, and now we have to execute. So we have user execute array like this, and we have first name, and we assign the data from the f underscore name, and we want to do this for 1, 2, 3, 4 for all of these variables. So we have last name, that's the data from all name. What else is there? Email, from email, and then the passwords from pass1, and that's all. We don't need last one. Okay, pass one. Here we have to add another. Okay, pass one password. Okay, this should work now. So we should have another if statement right below. So it's gonna be if it's different. Oops, it's different than user. This is the variable from here. We check this variable. If it's different, if this variable returns false, then that means that there was something wrong. That the user hasn't been inserted into the database. So we have result, and we assign to the result. We have here a div class div. This is gonna be error, and then we have p tags, and then here we have strong tags, and here we have error, and we say here all fields are required, or all fields are required. Alright, so otherwise here we have to redirect the user to the home page, to the login page where they they can log in. So we have echo. Alright, we have the same thing as we did here. Let's just copy that stuff from here so I don't have to type in everything. I'm gonna copy this from here and I'll paste it there. So we will redirect the user to the login page. Let's save it, let's go back and let's see what's going on here. Okay, let's click on register and we get an error. Pass is 59, undefined index pass, and 59, user 59. Where's 59? 59. Why is that showing there, you know? That's the login form. Oh, that's because, okay, we should change, sorry about that, guys. We have to change this one where we have the registration form. The action goes to register. Okay, it's gonna go to the same page. Alright, let's refresh this, click register, and we get this error, all fields are required. Now let's insert a new user. What do we have here? Okay, Victor Miller, and we're gonna put admin at gmail.com. Password doesn't really matter for now because we didn't put all these if statements. So if I click register, it redirects me to the login page, which means that the user is in the database now. Okay, so yes, we see the user here. Now we should add two more ifs, guys. We should make sure that this email is not stored in the database, so the email needs to be unique, because you can't have users with the same email. You don't want to, because sometimes you want to limit the usage of, the user can use just one email. Okay, so to do that, we should go back to our check register data here, and where we have our if statement, error, all fields are required. We should add right above else, add this curly bracket, and we have else if, like this, else if we have pass one different than pass two. We check the passwords now. Then we want to output this stuff. Let's copy it. We output this here, and we will say your passwords don't do not match. Your passwords don't match. Okay, and then we will have another if statement. Let's see, we have another if statement here, else if. Now we're adding the email. So if, okay, we have if here. So see, we should find a way on how to do all this stuff. Okay, if I guess this if it's going to be in here, so let's do like this. Let's delete this one and let's add that if right here above inserting our user, above inserting the user line. So here we will have to actually check for users with the same email, the same we did here. So let's go to the check login data, and I'm gonna copy these lines from here, and I'm gonna paste them right here like this. I know it's a lot of code, guys, but this is how we want to make it good. We want to make it secure. You can add comments on your stuff so you don't get lost there. So here we want to select from users where email equal to email. Okay, remove this pass, remove the password. All right, so we got email like this, info user. So what was there? We were checking like this. Okay, so user row count 0. Okay, where is that? We were, okay, so this is, where is, okay, checking registered data. I'm getting lost by myself, guys. Okay, um so this is, okay, here we want to add the if statement. So we'll have if user row count, which is a function, make sure this is an arrow, row count, it's equal to 0, then we do all this stuff. Okay, so if this is equal to 0, we put a curly bracket there like this, and let's align this one a little bit. And this, if it's 0, then if it didn't find any user with this email, then that means that this email is unique. All right, otherwise there's gonna be an else. We will show this an error, so I'm gonna copy this error and I'll paste it here, and we will say here let's say there is a user with this email already. Okay, let's save it, let's go back and let's see what's going on here. We've got an error like always, 91, user class 91, yes. Okay, just because I forgot this stuff, you probably saw it already, guys. Oh my gosh. Okay, so if you click register, it's saying all fields are required. Let's try to register a new user, and I'm gonna use the same email. I'll click register, it's gonna say error, your passwords don't match, which is good. I'm using the same email, now I'm gonna add the same password, so it's gonna be 12345, 12345, click register. Oh, don't match. Maybe I didn't do it. 12345, 12345, register. Your passwords don't match. Let's go. Something is going on there with my passwords. And if pass1 is different than pass2, oh, of course, because I have the MD5 here, so I have to do the same thing for the pass1. All right, I'm gonna get rid of this one from here, and I put here pass1. So I filter them, I encode them using MD5 as well, both of them. That's why it doesn't work. Okay, one more time. Victor using the same email, password 12345. Oops. 12345, and 12345, click register, and it's saying there is a user with this email already, so it works. Now let's choose another name, let's say John, or let's say Jace Fincham, email, let's say jace@mail.com, and the password is going to be 12345. Wait, 12345, 12345. Click register, and here we go. It works perfectly fine. Let's check the user table, and we get the Jace Fincham here registered. He has a password, and let's log in with Jason's credentials. So 12345, click enter, and it's saying welcome to the dashboard. So everything works fine. Now what's left is we should create an exit button here so the users can log out. Now to do that, we should create a new file which is going to be exit.php, and in this file we want to destroy the cookies. We have the cookies from the browser, so we have a PHP tag here, and here we will have set cookie, and we have the ID, so cookie ID, and basically the way we do that is just remove the timing, just remove the time, where we assign empty and we remove the time from that cookie. So we assign an empty string, and the time it's gonna be just like this. It's gonna be, if you remember from the previous, where's that stuff, check login data, we have plus, so we assign time. Now here we have minus, so we remove the time, so we have 60, 60, 24, and 30, and we've got here just like that. And we want to do the same thing for the session, and then here we have die, and above we want to redirect the user to the home page, so we have header, and here we have location, and our folder is login register, and let's see, okay, so it should work fine. Now if I type in here in the URL exit.php, it redirects me back here to the login, because that means it destroyed the cookies, because if I check my application stuff here, I don't have any cookies. Right, now let me log in back, enter, so I get the cookies with this ID 3 in the session. Welcome to the dashboard. You can actually add their user class. Welcome to the dashboard. You can put a link which is gonna say, I know it's gonna go to login register slash that's it, slash, and this is gonna say logout, or just exit, or whatever you want. Okay, save it, go back, refresh the page, and there's the exit right here. You can add styling here. Now you can do whatever you want. This is the dashboard content. So okay, so if I click exit, we see that it didn't work though. We still have this stuff, cookie stuff. Oh, that's because we didn't put the file though. So we have here exit.php. Alright, let's go to the exit.php, and the cookies disappeared from here. So the exit works, but now the thing is that, you know, I can still access the dashboard even if I'm not logged in. So let's fix that really quick. In order to fix that, we should have let's create a new function which is gonna check if the user is logged in or not. And to do that, let's add this function right at the bottom of the page. it's going to be the last function. So we have function is login. Function is login. So we have DB and we assign the connection to the database, to the DB variable, and then we have if is set. So we check if we have any cookies. So if is set cookie, and the cookie is ID, and what else we have here? We have the session and is set cookie session. Alright, here we check. We want to get the ID from the cookie, so we have ID and we assign to this variable int val. Make sure you add int val, it's very important because this is gonna filter, it's gonna allow only numbers in the ID, because as you already see here I can change the value, so I may insert there some kind of like bad stuff, so you don't want to, you want to filter everything that comes from the user. Okay, so I have int val here, and then we have cookie ID. Alright, we assigned the ID from the cookie to the ID variable, and now we want to select the user from the database. So we have user data, and we choose here, we use the connection DB prepare, and say prepare, and here we get a select ID session from users where ID equal to ID user, and we'll limit this one to one query, to just one line. That's alright. User data. Now we want to execute this. Execute array, and here we have ID user. It's getting the ID like this, and then after that we have user data, and we assign all the data to this variable actually. So we have user data fetch PDO fetch a sock. Actually this one needs to be a little different than this one. Actually this one is also, what the heck am I doing here? Okay, user data. This needs to be user data 1. Okay, user data 1, and then here, now here we check. So we assign all data to user data 1. Now here we check. We have an if statement. So here check if the data from the database matches with the data from the browser, then that means that this function is gonna return true. That means the user is logged in. If not, it's gonna return false. So here we have this. If user data 1, actually user data 1, let's say that database data like this. So if database data of session, the session from the database, it's different than the session from the cookie, or if the database data, if the database data ID, if the ID from the database is different than the int val, make sure you filter this one, int val cookie ID, alright. If this stuff is different, then that means that the user it's not logged in, and we want to return false. We can also remove the cookie, but we return false for now. Let's just return false. This should be enough. return false. All right, else return true. And where is the if statement we have here? This one. If is set, this one and this one. And if it's not set, that means we don't have any cookies. So in this way we return false. Return false like this. Okay. Now having this function, we save it. Having this function, we can use it in our dashboard function. So where's our dashboard function? We can have here we should change a little bit. Let's do this echo. It's gonna echo this one. Let's save it. Let's go back. Let's save it like this for now. Just to change that return to echo. Let's go back here where the dashboard is and refresh, and we see that exit is still showing here. Now here we will have an if statement. So it's gonna be if we get this and the function. If this is login function returns true, that means that the user is logged in. So in this case, we show this link, the exit link. All right. Else we have echo, and we say session expired, like this. So if I go back now and refresh, it's gonna say session expired because I'm not logged in. So let's go ahead and log in. You can actually put a link to the login form. Oops. Let's go to the login page. So I'm gonna add Chase 1 2 3 4 5. Click enter, and I get an error. User data undefined variable. Oh, it redirected me. User class 155. 155. Okay, I just misspelled. This needs to be lowercase. All right, 155. Refresh it. So it works. All right, it works because I'm logged in. I see the cookies here. So, but if I change the cookie, for example, I change this one to cookie ID number 2. All right, if I refresh it, it's gonna say the session is expired because it doesn't match. So, but we see that the cookie still remains here, which I don't really like it. So I want to do like whenever the session is expired, I want to make sure that I remove all the cookies from the browser, these 2 ones especially. So to do that, I want to do it right here above this return false. I'm gonna do here set. Actually, I'm gonna do the same thing I did on exit. So let's just copy the stuff from here. No. Sorry about that noise, guys. Usually, I know that noise it's crazy. So I'm gonna paste it here like this, and I'm gonna save it, and now I'm gonna go back. So if let's put 3 here, put 3, I refresh, now it works because they match, the data matches from the database. Now if I put 2, doesn't matter what I put, but if I put 2 and I refresh, you see it's saying session expired and the cookies disappear. So even though I can't change anymore here anything because the user doesn't, I don't have any more data and don't have any more cookies in the browser. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. It's a long video, it's almost 2 hours, and I'm sorry it took that long, but I hope you guys learn how to do this stuff. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for my channel, and I will see you guys in the next tutorials.